Oh my goodness, you guys, that is some rain. I am standing here at the kitchen sink about to cook breakfast for the birds and for myself and my husband, and I'm standing here watching this beautiful rain and looking out to the garden. And I'm so thankful for this rain because my tomatoes are drinking. My zucchini back there looks like it's probably close to 3 feet high. The petunias are loving it. It's very fragrant back there. And I know today when I go out to harvest my lettuce, it will be beautiful and drenched and quenched and fragrant with the smell of rain and petunias. And I'm really looking forward to going back and harvesting, even though it's going to be soggy and maybe even a little chilly today. It's all good because the rain is definitely a gift from the heavens. Well, guys, I will not be needing this garden hat today, but I will be needing these boots. So we're going out to survey after yet another storm. This is craziness. I have to show you happy basil. There's quite a few lanternfly nymphs in my basil. So surprisingly, lanternflies love basil. Or maybe they're just looking for a way to get out of the rain. So look at all the standing water we have. My goodness. I'm always, I do this with dread and enthusiasm because a few moments ago I was saying how motivated I was by the rain. But when we realize that it was just an oversaturation of rain, we just never know what's going to happen here, especially in this area. We do live near a creek that is prone to area flooding. Our water table is very, very low here, or very high. The water table is high. So yeah, my mistake. It doesn't take much. Like if you dig down here, you hit water right away. So that's always a concern. I like to make sure that, we check our water drain off to see which direction it's going in. So here I created a swale when we built this garden, and this was running like a little creek running along this way and out towards the swale of the property. I guess this cucumber liked it, and this cucumber definitely liked it. It's got a lot of flowers, so nothing really scary over here. It just seems like the lanternfly nymphs moved over to the basil. So I wonder what's up with that. These cucumbers are happy. So now we're just going to take a quick walk to the back and see what's going on. I kind of like this weather though, I have to admit. It's humid and it's overcast, and honestly I think there's just something in my blood from being of Scotch-Irish genetics that there's just something about this overcast weather that I really love. Strawberries held up. I didn't really hear the rain overnight. I was too exhausted, and John said he woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning to the sound of like outrageous thunder, and I don't know what I was dreaming of, but I didn't hear a bit of it. I was off in slumber. Oh my goodness. Look at that giant beautiful strawberry. This is looking pretty good. I managed to stop the birds from getting in last night. I'm not sure which trick actually was the magic, but they didn't get back in today. The corn is about ready for blood meal, and everything has grown beautifully. So I'm wondering if my little dove friend is going to come out here and greet me. I'm so worried because we had a very large raptor out here yesterday, and I don't know where she went off to. So the zucchini flowers are opened after all that rain. They're trying to get some light. Oddly, we're not having too many bees this year yet, and I think it's because someone sprayed pesticide, because they're trying to spray for the spotted lanternfly and instead it's killing everything else. I always talk about indiscriminate chemical spraying. But luckily, we have some crazy ant army that moved in here this year. It is crazy. And I've noticed a lot of ants on the zucchini, and they are actually doing the pollinating for us. So I anticipated that we would have at least one zucchini ready today. We have some babies that are down there looking really good, but they're not quite ready yet. This zucchini did take a pretty heavy beating. It's down. The stalk looks okay in there, so it's just leaning because they're so saturated. So I'm going to let them dry off a little bit, and I'll shake them off, do a little pruning, and let it dry out. Otherwise, it becomes an invitation for bugs and disease. These cucumbers seem to have really enjoyed that rain. They're a little splash dirty, but oh my goodness, look at all the rain. They loved the wet conditions we just had. Yeah, this was a lot of water. Did you see this water back here? So this was what I wanted to take advantage of because of the way everything runs off, and I figured that bed would benefit from it, and maybe I was right. As long as I can keep the too much sun and heat off of them, I think that we might have figured out a successful way to add an area of growing to the yard. So lots of flowers here on the borghesias. We have flowers on the martinos, red and pink buckwheat. I just love the buckwheat. Bear with me on some focusing issues I've been having here. I'm not really sure why, but I tend to not know that I was out of focus until I've been rolling for a few minutes. So sorry about that, but please stay with me. These are the Hungarian hearts. I'm going to come out here and thin them out, I think, because as I was saying, days like this with all of this rain, it invites disease. So because they're so bushy, they are allowing shade for the flowers and the plants, but any tomatoes that might be growing. But when there's too much foliage and the air filtration can't get through and dry everything out, you get disease and you get bugs. So these are looking really good. The peppers got really happy. We have a couple big weeds here we have to pull. The weeds really seem to have enjoyed it. Here's my shishito peppers. I do see a lot of the little flower heads. What they do is they turn over, and that's when you know you're about to get fruit. So I should have some actual jalapenos starting in here. They're moving along nicely. Again, all of these things were grown from seed, but these bigger peppers were not. These are keystone resistant bell peppers and the California Golden Wonder. I'm trying to stay focused. We actually have a fairly large pepper happening there. Did I just call it a tomato a minute ago? I'm not really sure. I get tomatoes on my brain. So that was the California Golden Wonder. Look at this. We have a keystone resistant. That's a really nice size. Another baby's in there growing. Everything loves the rain. It loves the rain. It takes up all of the nutrients from the water, all the nutrients that are in the soil. But then it's, all of a sudden, it'll just decide it's had enough. And the disease comes in and it just can't fight. So I've been trying to focus on disease-resistant plants in their description if I buy them from a farm. And even as I am buying seed packets to start new varieties, I try to read about the grower and where they're coming from so I can understand what their farm is about, to see if they're actually selling us seeds that produce disease-resistant, drought-resistant vegetable plants. So that's something that you want. These things are important. The last thing you want to do is put your time and resources into something like this just to realize you're growing a plant that just can't cooperate either in your growing conditions, in your soil, if you don't have the time to give it a certain level of care, if you live in a dry area and you don't have well water, or if your public water sources are too full of chemicals or certain minerals. We're high in iron here in this area of New Jersey. So because we're running off of public water, we don't really see the iron problems. However, you know, you're always going to deal with chlorine issues when you're dealing with public water, and it can take its toll on your plants. So you want to make sure that when you're watering, you do not spray your foliage, because it makes the foliage unhealthy. Once your foliage gets unhealthy, like I said, you're prone to diseases and then insects. Now, this is the Amish paste I'm back at here, and I'm highlighting on this because I did come out with concern in my last video saying how to prepare for a storm, and it mostly held it up well. This guy here just wants to pop out, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to start to truss it up to the top, which will be easy enough to do with some rope. And I'll just connect rope from this side of the added caging to that side and let that branch rest on it. And then I'm going to have to come up with a new way to decide on how I'm going to grow the Amish paste. The Bruzy Pear / San Marzano Lungo, we'll just give it the benefit of both names, is doing good. I'm hoping to see my carrot crowns rise soon. They could be small carrots down in there, but I'm not really sure. They're not obviously ready to pull, but they did bounce back well, because I really didn't think we were going to have any carrots at all, so we will see. The lettuce love the rain. Looks pretty good. Cucumber plants are reaching for the top. Very nice. These are the dragon's egg. So hopefully I'll see flowers on them soon. Our potato plants are starting to flower again. John has hilled around them a few times, and hilling just means that as the plant gets taller, you're raising more mounding dirt around the base and the crown of the plant, and that forces a root vegetable like this to produce more roots, rhizomes, or tubers, which then actually produce your vegetable. So see how it's all mounded up under there?
You can really see it from the other side too.
And now that it's gone to flower, we just have to wait for this flowering to finish, and once it starts to die back, we know that we have potatoes in there. I really can't wait. Last year we grew the Clancy potato, which is this guy here. They grow from seed, and it's very hard to grow potatoes from seed. It's a longer process, but they're a tiny new potato. And when they were finally ready to come out, it was a surprise. John reached in and found a couple handfuls, and they were the most delicious melt-in-your-mouth potato that I have ever roasted. So it was a little bit of extra work with them, a little bit of extra patience, but I'll say time and time again that patience pays off. Now, something that I just noticed is growing in here, butterfly bushes. We love our butterfly bushes, but here's an example. That butterfly bush and this actual butterfly tree, I shall call it, is, I don't know, 9-10 feet high. These guys self-sowed. So the seeds either blew over this way in a wind and storm, or the birds may have carried them. And then we have a few more over here. They grow, and if they plant themselves in a good spot, have at it, because the birds nest in there. It gives shade to them, and you know, we try to work with the birds because they help us with insects. Even though some of these birds are destructive and they've caused some havoc in our garden this year, it's been worth it. But the last thing I want to do is grow any butterfly bushes in my garden beds or encourage birds to come into my garden beds. And I'm thinking that this is mugwort, and I don't know if it's yet. I'm not really too mad at it because it's giving some shade to the lettuce actually. So I think I'm going to be patient with it a little bit longer, because last year I did grow marigolds that grew like 5 feet tall, and they were amazing. So wow, she is really out here in her glory from this rain. I did not see my little dove friend. I hope that she's in a tree and just staying out of the water while everything dries off. I get so attached so quickly. Yesterday I was getting ready to give her a name because she was walking around with me and escorting us both through the garden, and she would just pop out peacefully. A little bit of cooing going on, very just peaceful. So I hope she's okay. But this is going to be our follow-up after the storm, walkthrough, check and inspection. So everything's looking good, guys. Take a moment if you're growing something to just check your pots, check your plants, see how everything's doing. Start taking notes about what is doing good in the rain and what is, you know, if anything is blown over. If you're growing tomatoes, make sure your stems aren't laying on the ground for too long, and just keep a good monitoring of everything. So have a great rest of your day, guys. Stay tuned for more video. I think we're going to be harvesting a few things pretty soon, so stay with us. Hope to see you back here with us soon, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're really working hard towards getting this YouTube channel into something that everyone will enjoy, and look forward to seeing as we update daily and weekly vlogs. So look at that. We'll be talking about corn real soon. Okay, guys, take care. See you soon.